Hi everyone, I am Evelina. Today I am asking you a question. Why do we learn biology? Every day we wake up, eat, drink, exercise, and even breathe. These are all the microscopic things that happens every day in our lives, even every second. If we don't know biology, we won't get to know the miseries behind these things, how invisible processes contribute to this microscopic movement that happens daily in our lives. Learning biology is the key to the mystery and miseries of life and how our body functions.
Now, let me introduce you to a fun fact in biology.
People can live 3 weeks without food and only 3 days without water. But for oxygen, we can only live 3 minutes without oxygen. Why is oxygen so important? Now, stop. Take a deep breath in and slowly breathe out. You've done this thousands of times today without thinking. But have you ever asked, why is breathing so important? What is it really doing inside your body? The answer goes far beyond your lungs. It connects to one of the most important processes in biology. It's cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is the process by which our cells produces energy. Every time you eat food and breathe oxygen, your body uses these materials to generate a molecule called ATP. ATP is like the energy currency of the cell. It powers everything we do, from moving our muscles to thinking and even maintaining body temperature. The overall processes can be summarized like this. Glucose plus oxygen produces carbon dioxide, water and energy in the form of ATP, but this process does not happen in one step. Instead, it occurs through a series of carefully controlled stages. You might wonder, why doesn't the cell just release all the energy at once? The answer is control. If all the energy were released at once, it would be at loss as heat and damage the cell. Instead, cellular respiration breaks down glucose step by step, allowing energies to be captured efficiently in ATP. This process also involves redox reactions, where electrons are transferred between molecules. These electrons carry energy, which is gradually harvested in the cell. The first stage is called glycolysis, which occurs in cytoplasm. In this step, one glucose molecule is split into smaller molecules called pyruvate. This process produces a small amount of energy, specifically a net gain of 2 ATP and 2 NADH. NADH is an important molecule that carries high energy electrons. One key feature of glycolysis is that it does not require oxygen. This means that it can occur in both aerobic and anaerobic conditions. Next, the pyruvate enters the mitochondrion, where it is converted into a molecule called acetyl-CoA. This molecule enters the citric acid circle, also known as the Krebs circle. During the circle, the carbon atoms from glucose are fully broken down and released as carbon dioxide. More importantly, the stage produces high energy electrons carry NADH and another molecule called FADH2. These molecules store energy that can be used in the next stage. So now let's turn to the final stage, which is the oxidative phosphorylation, which takes place in the inner membrane of mitochondrion. Here, the NADH and FADH2 produced earlier donate their electrons to a system called the electron transport chain. As the electrons move through the chain, they release energy step by step. The energy is used to pump hydrogen ions across the membrane, creating a connection gradient. Then these hydrogen ions flow back through a protein called ATP synapse. These movements drive the production of ATP. This process, known as chemolysis, generates most of the ATP, about 32 ATPs per glucose molecule. When we inhale, oxygen comes in, and when we exhale, carbon dioxide goes out. Oxygen plays a crucial role at the end of the electron transport chain. It acts as the final electron acceptor, combining with electrons and hydrogen ions to form water. Without oxygen, the electron transport chain stops, and ATP production is greatly reduced. In such case, they rely on fermentation, which produces much less energy. To summarize, cellular respiration has three main stages: glycolysis, the critic acid cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation. Together, these processes convert the energy stored in glucose into ATP. This energy powers nearly all cellular activities, which is essential for life. Now I'll introduce you to a simple lab experiment that I have done in my middle school. To observe cellular respiration, we can use yeast. In this experiment, yeast is mixed with warm water and sugar, then sealed with a balloon. As the yeast breaks down glucose, it produces carbon dioxide gas. This gas inflates the balloon, showing that cellular respiration is taking place. In low oxygen conditions, yeast performs fermentation, producing only a small amount of ATP. By changing factors like temperature and sugar connection, we can observe how the rate of respiration changes. When oxygen is limited, cells cannot complete full cellular respiration. Instead, they switch to anaerobic pathways such as fermentation. This allows ATP production to continue, but at a much lower efficiency. You can see from the visuals here how anaerobic respiration is different from anaerobic respiration. They share the first stage of glycolysis, at least. In human cells, and especially human muscle cells, pyruvate is converted into lactate during fermentation. This process regenerates NAD+, allowing glycolysis to continue producing ATP. However, lactate and hydrogen ions accumulate, lowering pH and causing muscle fatigue and burning sensations. This is what, in real life, we should prevent from happening during exercises, because that would cause muscle pain and stop us from doing more exercise. There are some exercises that can help us recover from this stuff. I won't explain here. From a single breath of air to the food we eat, to the energy inside of every cell in cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is happening constantly to sustain life. It connects oxygen, glucose, and ATP into one continuous system that powers everything we do. Understanding this process helps us see what biology is. It's not only a subject in class, it's the explanation of life itself.